Alright everybody, so in this video I'm going to share with you exactly how I programmed my mind for wealth and happiness. This is based on a private mastermind sharing I did a couple of months ago. So I hope you guys enjoy it, right? Do take action, and with that, let's get started. So how many of you over here have goals, right? Ironically, right? I think a lot of you watching this will have goals. And the next question is, how many of you actually failed or struggled to get there in the first place? And so the next question is, how many of you would actually want to achieve your goals faster and fail less? So if you replied yes to any of the above questions, then this entire presentation is for you. So who is Mark Teo? So very quickly, again, some of you might know me or some of you might not, right? I was in the tech startup space where I facilitated more than $10 million for startups. I generated more than $5 million as a digital marketer, more than $300,000 in personal income from my side hustles, including becoming number one affiliate for Tony Robbins. I took the leap of faith to start my lifestyle coaching business from 0 to 100,000 and have served more than 350 people since. And currently I help aspiring and current lifestyle entrepreneurs make extra 10 to 30K per month while having the time, energy, and freedom to enjoy life. So, and I created Master Mentors, my company, back in 2020 because of this one question. Why can different people attend the same course, read the same book, receive the same information, but achieve drastically different results? And so after more than 40 interviews with Asia's top coaches and trainers, some of you might find familiar to you, more than $150,000 worth of coaching and seminars, 250 unit coaching calls, more than 300 trainings and workshops. Here are my two favorite quotes that help me to succeed. Right, number one is, business at the end of the day is 80% psychology and 20% strategy. So this is by the legendary Tony Robbins, right? One of my favorite quotes of all time, where success has more to do with psychology than the strategy alone. And number two, right, to support this even further, if information was the answer, we'll all be billionaires with perfect apps. Because we have all the best information out there, but most of us here are not billionaires or we don't have perfect apps. And that's why at the end of the day, right, it's not information. And so today, I wanted to share with you what I believe is the most powerful belief on earth, and this has helped me to transform my life many years ago. And this is the quote, which is, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. So a lot of time, people always want to try to predict the future, predict what's their life going to be like, predict what's their lifestyle, their income is going to be like. They want to predict it. But I always believe that the best way to predict it is to invent it yourself. And a lot of people don't like this, but it also means that you're taking control of your own life so that you can actually move forward with what you want. And so this means that you have the power. And this means you take 100% responsibility. You can change how things are no matter how bad the situation is. You have what it takes to control your thoughts, feelings, and responses. You achieve anything you desire if you want it badly enough. And you have zero excuses because you are in charge. Again, it's uncomfortable for some, but if you manage to embrace this belief, you're going to be so freaking powerful that you can control and determine how you want your life to be like moving forward. So today I want to help you to internalize this belief. So it's one thing to kind of know it logically, right? But it's one thing to internalize this and practice this as part of your daily life. And so that you can become wealthier, happier, richer, and live the life that you want. But first, very quickly, let's define these two terms before I move on. Number one is what we call empowering beliefs. So empowering beliefs are just basically beliefs that help you. And that's number one. Number two, disempowering beliefs are beliefs that basically sabotage you or prevent you from achieving some goals that you want. So very quickly, empowering beliefs help you, disempowering beliefs sabotage you. However, are there beliefs that can both help and sabotage you? So that's a very big question you're going to ask. And so what happened is, what we realized that most of us humans, we don't wake up one day, right, out of nowhere wanting to sabotage our lives. I think all of us don't want that. So what happens, what we realize through psychology, through science, right, through research and experience is that we adopt disempowering beliefs because it used to help and protect us previously. It used to serve us in one way previously, just that that belief might not serve us as well all the time. So for example, right, in the past, right, a belief of I must always be safe and keep to myself might have been a powerful way for you to protect yourself, not being made fun of, for example, but it might not serve you well as you go on to the working world or if you're in business as well. So similarly, empowering beliefs can sabotage us if used to the extreme as well. So again, that can be used in a vice versa moment. And so the first reminder, right, you're going to write this down. Every belief in life is here to serve you. However, if not used well, they will exist to sabotage you as well. So one thing to remember is all beliefs, right, are neutral. They are there to serve you one way or another, but if not used well, they will exist to sabotage you. So how many of you here have felt powerless before? So that's the next question. Felt powerless, right, helpless, that you can't move or can't determine something. And so one quick question you're going to ask yourself is to rate yourself to continue this presentation, which is number one, how much control do you have over your finances, over your health, over emotions, happiness, relationships, and personal growth? So rate yourself very quickly. You can take a pause and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 about these 5 factors. So, and remember, right, if you are not 0, if you didn't put 0 for any of that, Wonderful. It means you're not starting from scratch. We're just going to help you level up even further. So this just means that all of you on some level have some power, unless you put 0 out of 0 out of 10 for any of these factors, right? If it's more than 0 out of 10, right, it just means that we're just helping you to upgrade even further. So it's not going to be a transformation. It's just going to be an upgrade of your thinking. So quick thing, right? Quick quote that I love from Alex Hormozy, which is this: remember, you are not your feelings. So as Alex Hormozy said, you don't have to feel good about it. You just have to keep going. The feeling will pass, but you will remain. You and more your feelings. So this is a big reminder for me, because I always realize that even though I feel something, I do not have to succumb to it. So no matter how you feel about yourself, you are already powerful enough. So in the future, right, you might feel inspired, you might feel educated, you might feel educated right now, but in the future, when you feel bad, it doesn't mean you're not powerful. It just means that you maybe don't feel good, but it doesn't mean you're not powerful. And so lastly, right, are you ready? Right, so again, those are some foundational beliefs, right, to share. But now moving forward, we're going to go a bit more strategic, a bit more tactical, but how can you reprogram your mind for wealth and happiness? So the first thing I'll talk about, adopting empowering beliefs to your life, right? To reprogram your mind for wealth and happiness. Number one is to understand the value. Because if you do not understand the value of your belief, chances are you might not even want to adopt it. So for example, if I ask you guys right now, are you afraid of cockroaches, right? Some people might say yes, some might not, most probably will, right? But then the other question is, if I asked you, would you be open if I actually change your entire belief, right, to not be afraid of cockroaches anymore? And interestingly, when I ask people that question, right, a lot of them might be like, no, I want to be afraid of cockroaches forever, right? Because why? If I ask them, say, do you want me to potentially overcome your fear of cockroaches for the rest of your life? And a lot of them, right, because they're so scared, they're not even willing, right, to get rid of their fear of cockroaches, right? It's only when a bigger reason or bigger value comes, right, then they might. But the reason, right, why a lot of people might not even want to get rid of their fears, their self-doubt, procrastination, is because they do not see the value of it. And so if you don't see the value of adopting the belief, there's nothing anyone can do. So for example, let's say you are a father, right, and for some reason, right, your kid or your loved one is freaked out by a cockroach. You might suddenly want to overcome that fear, because you want to protect your family, protect your child, protect your kid. So again, you need to see the value of adopting the belief before anything else happens. So for example, would you rather be happier, right? So this photo is of me, my wife, my mom, right? And one thing I realized at a very young age, which is I can either be happy, right, or I can be right. And I learned this from this thing called Millionaire Mind Intensive. And so sometimes, right, do I disagree, right? My mom or my wife at times, absolutely, right? There are different things I disagree about, but sometimes I remind myself I'd rather be happy than right. So that's an empowering belief that served me very well, because why? I see the value of happiness, joy, right? Spending a great relationship with my mom, my wife, right? As they say, happy wife, happy life. But again, it's because I see the value, right, of the importance of being happy rather than being right. Again, would you rather be fearful or courageous? So this is another story where I got made fun of, right, by people that I don't even know. And they started signing my email up for different things that I didn't ask for. And again, right, would I rather be fearful where I post content less, I help people less, I start quitting my lifestyle business, or, right, do I be courageous by continue embarking on a journey to keep moving forward, and to embark on and to just help more people despite, right, the fear of being judged? Again, I had the empowering belief to keep going, because why? I see the value of what I'm doing. Yes, I can make more money for myself, my loved ones, my family, but I can also help people at the same time. So again, I see the value of the belief, and that's why I'm willing to embark on it. A lot of people don't, because they don't remind themselves of the value of adopting their empowering belief. So again, right, are you a failure, or do you just fail this time around? So another potential belief, which is, if every time you fail, you think you're a failure, right? Not empowering belief most of the time, versus, hey, if I fail, I'm not a failure, it just means I failed this time around. Again, it's an empowering belief, right? And why is such an empowering belief? Because why? It allows you to keep going and not quit no matter what. Okay, so are you selfish or doing it for the same thing, right? A lot of people think that if I'm trying to post content, I'm going to share my results, my transformation. If I'm trying to help people, people might think I'm showing off, right? But my take is, I'm fine with people thinking I'm a show off if that's the price to pay for me to help people as well. Okay, so here's a few exercises that work for me. I hope it works for you as well. So number one, right, to remind yourself of your value is your life book. So this is by Mind Valley. You can get Google life book online, and this is exercise that allows you to get your ideal vision for your life, right, in 12 different categories. One of the amazing exercises I did in the end of 2020, which allowed me to get more clarity about what's my life vision for myself. The other thing is, again, from my valley, which is what we call the 3 most important questions. And these are the 3 most important things you can kind of write down to find out what you might want in the future in terms of experiences. So experiences in terms of your things like your bucket list, right? Things that's going to make life an amazing one, right? Growth is the ways you want to grow internally as a person. It can be health, mindset, skill sets, knowledge, so on and so forth. And then contributions. How do you want to contribute to people? So experiences, growth, contribution. Again, you can Google it down. There's something that can be useful for you. A personal vision board, right? So I know most of you guys have. So personal vision board basically is, right, how can I basically write down all the goals that I want and remind myself of that every single day. Okay. Another exercise, I do this in separate videos, right? One of them is called the perfect typical day and week, which is writing down for yourself on a every day, on a typical week, how do you want your schedule, your structure to be like. Okay, so if you already have goals, some of you already probably have goals and visions right now. The next question to ask again is, do they engage you in the first place? So some of you might find some of these exercises familiar, but you gotta ask yourself, do they engage you? Do they excite you? Do they keep you going over and over again? So how do you increase your level of engagement? And this is what we call the VAR method, right? Visualization, right? So visualization, do you visualize it, right, on a regular, ongoing basis? A, right, which is A is, do you acknowledge yourself, right, to remind yourself on a regular basis? R is just reminder. So VAR, visualize, acknowledge, remind, do that on an ongoing basis, and that's how you get engage your goals to be excited, engaging, and drive you moving forward. And so again, reminder, when the why is big enough, the how is easy. So get value, right, based on the value of the goals, the beliefs that you want, right, and which drives you to keep moving forward. So that's step number 1 into reprogramming your mind for success and wealth. Okay, so number 2 is gather evidence, right? When it comes to creating empowering beliefs, right? In my opinion, the best way to predict the future is invent it. So the next thing you're gonna ask yourself is to create evidence, right? To remind yourself about that empowering belief. So my problem with Tony Robbins for a very long time, which is not the fact that I learned a lot from him, I got very inspired, motivated by him, but I think the challenge I always got for Tony Robbins is after his events, his programs, reading his books, I feel very inspired, motivated, but then it goes all the way down, right? So again, getting inspiration, motivation, putting yourself in great high energy environments is great, but the problem is when you get back to a lower energy environment or go back to everyday life, you might not be able to sustain that level of drive, excitement all the time. So what happens is, about 2023, I engaged one of my most important life coaches in my life called Stuart, and he got me to have the breakthrough to realize that the stronger your beliefs, you can write this down, right? The stronger your belief, right, the lower amount of energy you need to sustain that belief. So what do I mean, right? When I went to Tony Robbins, right, I would always tell myself, I'm good enough, right? But when the days goes by, right, after the program, when I'm alone by myself in a room doing work, right, the conversation of I'm good enough goes a bit quieter, and I start questioning, am I even good enough? Right? And that's why I realized, because I was so reliant on that high energy, high drive environment for me to believe I'm good enough, right? Which also means that it might be a weak belief. But once I worked with Stuart, it got me to realize that the strongest beliefs are the ones who require the least energy. So for example, right, if the belief of if I pour water into a cup and the cup will fill with water, right? That kind of belief, you don't need a lot of energy, right? I won't be screaming, right, when I on the tap, the water will come. Because to me, right, it's such a strong belief that I know that if I turn on the tap, the water will come. I don't even have to spend energy, right, reminding myself of it. So what I realized again is strong beliefs don't require lots of energy from you. It has to come to a space where it's like, yeah, I believe that. I'm good enough. Everything it takes to succeed, right? Instead of having to jump up and go crazy all the time. So and how do you do that is the more evidence you have, the stronger you believe. So for example, when I turn on the tap for my past 30 years of my life, water always comes out, maybe 99.99% of the time. So I don't even need to have energy to believe that water comes out from the tap. Similar, you need to have enough evidence to collect, right, to make your belief so freaking strong that it becomes such a second nature to yourself away, right? And this is why we can having enough table legs to support the table to be strong and grounded, and how table legs are all evidence of you to support that belief. So this is why I like to using logic to internalize my beliefs. I don't like to use emotions alone, right? And so another question is, how many of you believe that you are not good enough? So this is a picture from Inside Out 2. And on some level, a lot of people I've talked to, right, on some level we have felt that. And right, what I do is I reframe my beliefs with logic. So it's good that I feel I'm not good enough because it means I still have room to grow. It might be true I'm not good enough yet. So what if I'm not good enough? This does not mean I'm a less of a person. So sometimes people, they have a lot of conversation about what it means to be not good enough. They think that that means that they suck as a person, they are worthless, they're not, they suck, right? But right, sometimes not good enough just basically means you're not good enough, and you can always get better, right? And so it doesn't matter even if I feel I'm not good enough. What matters are results and progress. So sometimes at the end of the day, what I realize is I can feel I'm not good enough, by the data, the feedback shows that I'm good enough. Great, wonderful. I'm probably good enough. Okay, so another personal example, right, was with my mentor called Melvin. I probably paid him $40,000-$50,000 to him by now, and what he got me to realize when he was first coaching me about the second or third year, which is my limiting belief that I'm not good enough to make lots of money, right, make millions of dollars. And the first thing he got me to do was not to ask me to do strategy, business, tactics, but to actually go and research the market, right, to find case studies of people, right, that were making millions of dollars, and asking me to compare my results, my delivery, my fulfillment to them. And when I realized that a lot of what I did, right, was actually objectively better, if not the same, similar to these people making millions of dollars, I unlocked that belief of the fact that I'm good enough already. So sometimes collecting evidence, collecting logic, right, helps you to internalize that belief for the rest of your life. Okay, so again, the more evidence you can gather to support your empowering beliefs, the more likely you internalize that. Okay, so remember again, quick reminder, you are not your feelings. You can feel something, it doesn't mean it has to be true. So, number 3, right, environment stacking. So one of the most powerful lessons in my life about environment, which is humans forget about 50% of new information within an hour of learning it. So most people just forget. And so adopting this one attitude helped to change everything, right? And so because why? For me, I can feel pissed off, unhappy, dissatisfied about this bigger mindset, right? But adopting this one attitude helps me change everything. For example, what is something that's guaranteed in sales and marketing? Rejections, right? However, how do most people feel when they get rejected, right? They feel dumb, right? They feel sad, they feel upset, they feel angry, right? But the shift in attitude I had, right, at the end of the day is, no matter how much we try, I will always get rejected in sales and marketing, right? There will always be people say no to me, because why? That's life. Even people making billions of dollars will people get say no. So I can either choose to feel upset, angry, or sad about it, or I can realize that it's just part of the journey. Similarly, right, when I realized that humans will forget 50% of the information they get in the first 1 hour, I realized that no matter how much I try, except that people will forget what I say and not do what they're supposed to do. And so, why do you think, right? So this was for clients, right? And so that's why we put constant reminders, automations, follow-ups to remind people about certain information, exercises, things that we feel is important for them. And that reminders, that automations help people to internalize what they need to internalize in the long term. So again, we don't feel, for example, we have this thing called a weekly reflections for clients. And a lot of clients don't do it, right, when they first start out, because they kind of forget, because they're busy. So instead of feeling pissed off, upset, angry, right, we just put in reminders, automations, right, follow-ups, check-ins to make sure that they submit to them. Because why? We do not get upset, they forget, because we know that's part of human nature. And so what we do is we stack the environment in their favor to do these weekly reflections. Okay, so same thing, right? What do these shows have in common as well, right? So again, there are some of the shows I watch, right? How some of the migrants go to the US, Shark Tank, right? Modern Day Survivor, and all of these shows remind me, right, about how powerful humans can be, where they expand their comfort zone, where they have amazing breakthroughs in business relationships, right, where people where they hike 6 days, right, without barely any food and water, but they still able to survive the trek all the way to the US. And all of this just reminds me how powerful humans can be. And this is another example of how I stack my environment, right, to be able to adopt more empowering beliefs in my life. So they keep every episode I watch, every video I watch, every reminder I watch reminds me how powerful humans can be, and remind me how powerful I can be as well. Okay, and again, your environment plays a massive role in shaping your beliefs. Okay, so again, very quickly, right, to run down, we have a separate video talking about this. But traits of environment can be your physical environment, it can be your social environment, the people you hang out with. Right, you can ask yourself, are the people around you having more empowering or disempowering beliefs in your life? And of course, virtual environment, your social media, emails, apps. Again, you can ask yourself, are they supporting your beliefs, or are they, right, disempowering them? Okay, so physical environment, right? How do you feel when you step into your house, room, or workplace? Do you feel inspired or motivated? Do you have more or less energy? When you step in your house, do you tend to have more empowering beliefs or disempowering beliefs? What's one thing you can do in the next 7 days to upgrade your physical environment? Same thing for virtual, right? What platforms do you spend the most time in? What channels do you follow? Do you feel inspired or motivated when consuming content online? More or less energy. Is what you're consuming online supporting or providing empowering disempowering beliefs? What's one thing you can do to upgrade a virtual environment? All right, and of course, back to social. Who have you been spending the most time with? Do you feel inspired, motivated when you spend time with them? More or less energy. Are the people you spend the most time with providing empowering disempowering beliefs? And what's one thing you do next 7 days to upgrade your social environment? Okay, so whether you like it or not, your environment will shape your beliefs. So reprogram your mind, you're gonna reprogram your environment. Okay, so again, it's one of the most powerful things you can do to change your life. Okay, so again, recap, right? Number one, in my opinion, one of the most powerful beliefs is the best way to predict the future is invented, right? Number two, if you want to adopt empowering beliefs, you're going to ask yourself what's the why, because why? The bigger the why, the easier the how. The bigger amount of value you see of having an empowering belief, the more likely you're going to internalize it. Number three, strong beliefs do not require lots of energy in your life. Number four, collect enough evidence to internalize these beliefs. Use logic rather than emotions all the time. Number five, change your environment, change your life. Okay, so lastly, remember this. Everything is figure outable, right? This is one of the most powerful beliefs I have in my life right now, which is everything in life is figure outable. If you just have faith, keep taking action, be adaptable, ask questions, get feedback, get help. Everything in life is figure outable. Okay, so if not, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you very soon. So this is just one of the many videos we'll be shooting for you guys, and I hope you have a great day ahead. Bye.